day at Bakersfield College, our students are moving toward their goals. Why aren't you with them? Is it cost? Family obligation? Maybe you don't feel prepared for college life. The good news is we're prepared to help you. You have yet to realize how much help and support is waiting for you at Bakersfield College. Learn more now on Equity TV. Here's your host, Christine Dinh.
Hi, I'm Christine Dinh, and thank you for tuning in to Equity TV with Bakersfield College, where we address the hurdles to higher education that people face, break those barriers, and inspire you with success stories. Now, although college is considered important to many people, it's becoming less and less of a priority to others. Joining us is President of Bakersfield College, Dr. Sonya Christian. Welcome, Dr. Christian.
Thank you.
So, as Bakersfield College's 10th president, one of the very first issues you focused on from the get-go was equity and inclusion. Why is that?
It's very simple, really, when you think about being president of a community college. And community college is all about access for all. So you have diversity of students, whether it's socioeconomic diversity, ethnicity, academic preparation. We know Stanford, where students apply and a certain percentage gets into Stanford. So equity is really fundamental to the mission of community colleges. And then think about a community college in Kern County. Think about Bakersfield. Arvin, Lamont, Delano, Wasco, you're looking at low poverty levels, low educational attainment levels. So BC, honestly, for the last 2 years, we've been focused on thinking about issues of equity. And the word equity in itself has a specific meaning. As a community college, we were inclusive. Everyone comes to us. But the reality is, when they come to us, are we intentional in making sure that they're all successful? Do they have the same equal opportunity for success? So that's what we're focused on, and we're so delighted that we can use Equity TV as an opportunity, again, to get that message out that higher education is really a game changer.
So how did this lead to Equity TV, the whole development?
That's right. First of all, I think the Bakersfield Californian has provided this amazing forum for us to communicate with our community. My first exposure was with Strictly Business, and then we had a Renegade report, our athletics department. In fact, Francis Mayer, the producer of the Renegade report, is also the producer of Equity TV. And Greg Kerr was in your chair, Christine. So that was the first exposure to using this forum to get the message out. And the second reason is BC has been talking about issues of higher education with many community groups, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Black Chamber of Commerce, and oh wow, today's Martin Luther King, so it's an amazing day to be launching Equity TV. And in those conversations, one of the most important things that came up is we can't wait for students to get to BC and talk about equity in the classroom. The concept needs to really go out into the community when students are young and start looking at those kinds of issues at a very young age, and getting the community to start a campaign about higher education. So it is truly a coalition with our community college, with our community partners with Bakersfield College.
Yeah. Equitable access to everybody.
That's right.
So what is the goal and the purpose of Equity TV?
We're hoping that the viewership doesn't just end with the 11 to 12 o'clock hour on Mondays, that the video segments that we have archived, and I know we're building bakersfieldcollege.edu/equitytv, these interviews are going to be archived. And our hope is that we will be able to use this goldmine of opportunity at community youth forums and so on to be able to have these conversations. The ultimate goal is that education is a game changer. We need to get all of our community, not just some, our African American community, our Latino community, our veterans, to higher education, to Bakersfield College.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of people out there who think that college isn't for them, that it's not possible for them. We're trying to prove otherwise,
That's right. And I'm so pleased that our final guest today is President Horace Mitchell. And President Mitchell has been a great partner of Bakersfield College, and he's also has unwavering commitment to the entire population here in Kern County. So the concept of equity and closing the achievement gap is extremely important. So stay tuned to listen to President Mitchell at the end of today's episode.
So what audience are we hoping to reach? I mean, who does this apply to?
When we came up with the 14 weeks of Equity TV, we were really looking at our Latino population. We were looking at African American. Today, our focus is going to be African American. We're going to be looking at veterans. When you tune in on January 26th, the focus is going to be veterans in higher education. We want BC to be known as veteran friendly. And on February 2nd, when we are launching our Latino strand, Chancellor Sandra Serrano is going to be our opening guest on the show. We're also going to be looking at issues related to disability, foster youth, and so on. And it takes the entire village. So we're hoping to reach parents. We're hoping to reach community members so that everyone, the messages, whether it is an expectant mom, is thinking about, okay, when I have my child, how can I think about raising the vocabulary in the first 3 years, because that makes a difference, because it's right then that achievement gap we can start closing. And the third grade level, reading level, is extremely critical. So the whole focus is we need to get out there as early as possible to youngsters to get them to think about education and think about college.
Yeah, so why these special population groups? What is it about them? Is it because they're first-time college students?
That's right. BC.
First generation. Sorry.
First generation. That's exactly right. At BC, over 80% of our students are first generation. What that means is that when these students go back home, their parents haven't gone to college. Their grandparents haven't gone to college, so college is a foreign country for them. So when you have a particular first-generation student sitting next to, let's say, my daughter, whose parents went to college and grandparents went to college, right there you can see that they are disadvantaged. And so the obligation of Bakersfield College, of all of our community partners, is to figure out how can we level the playing field so that college becomes accessible for these communities as well.
Yeah, it's intimidating to sit next to someone who has seemingly more privilege than you in that position. So it's very important that we make it comfortable for people to feel that they can go to college.
Yeah, I mean, education is honestly the great equalizer. And this whole project, I mean, over 30 people at BC and community came together to make this happen. Mm-hmm. It truly was a labor of love, and the commitment to all of our population and not some of our populations.
So what's the benefit of choosing to go to a community college like BC over a four-year college right away?
I mean, for one thing, it's affordable. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the tuition rate per credit, and California in particular is very affordable, and our students also qualify for the Board of Governors free waiver. You may have heard that President Obama has come up with a free community college agenda. And what is exciting about President Obama's proclamation is that policymakers in Washington, D.C., policymakers in Sacramento, legislators, the governor are truly recognizing that for America as a whole and California to be competitive, economically speaking, to also quality of life issues, education is absolutely critical. And community colleges, because they're affordable and because there is an ability for faculty to really create the conditions of support for students to make them successful, mm-hmm. It is in many ways more of an advantage to use the community college as a stepping stone, mm-hmm. whether it's a stepping stone for a job or a stepping stone to go on to Cal State University, Bakersfield. And by the way, we're truly working on looking at those pathways to CSUB in finding students being able to get their baccalaureate in 4 years in an efficient and effective way. So lots of good work.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Well, I do want to really thank our community. I can tell you, Christine, recently we went out with our application for the baccalaureate program, the Applied Baccalaureate. We had over 70 organizations, CEOs, signing statements of support. So I really want to call out to our community, thank you very much. You've been great supporters of Bakersfield College. We are your college. And I want to encourage you to tune in for Equity TV and particularly tap into the gold mine and use the materials later. And thank you, Christine. This is great. We are setting history right here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us, President Christian. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we're going to focus on the challenges African Americans face when considering college. We'll be right back.